hope like me you found that moving. I think Crowborough should be extremely proud and is very fortunate to have such creative and talented young people in its midst. And I, for one, shall never be berating young people because they can produce work like that. It's fantastic. And in fact, if you don't, I'd like to invite Harry to come up with some of his chums who will take the film. Toby, Harry, come on. Toby.
I'm Neil.
Neil. Right. So I don't know whether anyone's got any questions they might like to ask about how long it took to film. Chantal?
Yeah. Could I ask, did you three learn anything about the First World War that you didn't know before you started?
I guess, I think it's more important that we're more aware about, the lives that were sort of, affected by the young men of Crowborough specifically. Because, I mean, you go past through all these towns across the country, and you forget that each town has a history, and part of that history is probably reflected or even part of the Great War. So when you learn more about one specific town, it kind of expands sort of the picture of the history of that time, And I feel like that Harry and the rest, that we managed to portray that was actually it's quite an honour, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think I just learned more about the town during the era, so I got given a book about Crowborough during that kind of time period, which told me about many buildings and different businesses and things that were open at the time. So it was quite interesting looking back at the history of the town itself, during that period, and sort of, how it was back then.
I'd like to say how much I enjoyed the period feel. I thought you really captured it incredibly well. And I noticed that the Bluebell Railway were credited, and I assume that you persuaded them somehow to let you use the railway. Were they?
Oh, it wasn't easy.
I think that's where I got the credit as executive producer. Is that it's a bit of a surprise to me. I have to say, I didn't ask for that. But yes, I mean, it was quite interesting because the guys had tried and had contacted the railway. I remember, I don't know if it was Benedict or Harry that came back to me and said, Dennis, do you think you could help? They're not taking us seriously. I don't think they think we're really, we know what we're talking about. So do you think you could contact them? And of course, like most places, like heritage places, they have a very rigorous process and procedure. They've got a film liaison department that you have to go through, and you have to speak to somebody specific. Most of their, I mean, they're selling the station, obviously professionally, for film companies and TV companies, and they charge quite a lot of money. I, of course, we're a not-for-profit organisation. These young guys, they're making this film, especially for Crowborough Remembers, which is a week of commemoration. As you know, it's the centenary of the end of the Great War. So I basically just talked them into submission, and they very quickly, we were very fortunate because they just found a little slot because they had a long-running series that they were filming at the stations, and so it's quite difficult to find a free slot. But they were lucky. Obviously the gods were with you, and they let us film it. I don't know how long it actually took you to shoot that particular scene.
I think it was just 2 hours. 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that scene was so beautiful, I thought. The scene. And it's an interesting story there, of course, which Chantal will well know about. Because originally, when we were talking about this during this film, the idea of maybe these soldiers would be at the Crowborough camp, and that they would be then transported down to the coast to go to the front line. And originally we were looking for an old truck for a World War One. Dennis, do you think you could find us a World War One truck? My head, went on Facebook, went on everything, trying, and got quite some response. But I did get a couple of Facebook responses saying, well, of course, you do realise that the soldiers weren't transported by trucks. They would take the train or march. I think Chantal, you were one. And also Paul, I think you mentioned, yeah. So we had to change tack, and you did that incredibly.
I suppose that's something I learned as well, that they were taking my train, not the truck.
Yeah, well, there you go, Chantal. That also answers your first question. So we all learned something. But yeah, so that was quite an interesting thing, and I think actually in the end, I think the production is better for it.
Yeah,
I think the train scene, it's so emotional. I think. Yeah. But so that was it. Any more questions? Here we are, Susanna.
I'm just wondering what the sequel's going to be called.
Yeah, not too sure.
Actually,
are you taking these skills further on?
No, definitely, yeah. I mean, like all of us have gone off to different unis and things like that, and all of us definitely want to carry on making projects together. So yeah, there's without a doubt we'll carry on.
If we find the time, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Harry, you've got a film already that's on YouTube, haven't you? The soft.
Yeah. We've done other films in the past that are like on YouTube and things that you can find just through Room 18 Films, which is what we are like collectively.
Yeah, so Room 18 Films, if you want to look that up, and you'll actually be able to see some of the other, they're all mostly short productions, but as I say, some of the ones I've seen are just as good, well, I won't say better, but certainly extremely good. So I'm sure these guys will go on and do great things, and for themselves, and Crowborough too. Yeah. Anyway, any more? Is that it? Another question?
Are the characters portrayed based on real people, or are they just fictitious based on their characters?
No, yeah, I think obviously if we wanted to, we could have maybe searched up particular people and based it off them, but it's always a bit, it's a bit of a touchy subject if you want to base it off real people. So they're just kind of generalised characters really to represent any young lads back in those times.
Can I just say that we've just discovered?
Yes.
We've just discovered now that possibly there was a relative of Harry's who actually fought in the First World War, called Reginald Walters, and I was given a sort of a A4 folder with the name of Reginald Walters, who died at the Somme. And he was 22, and he was from Crowborough, and I emailed Harry's dad and said, could this be a possible relative of yours? And you're actually now looking to see whether that's the case. Is that right, Martin?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah, and there was a couple of names that you perhaps recognised.
Yeah, it's just as Mabel.
Mabel.
Yeah.
So, because what Harry's family have lived, as I said, have lived in Crowborough for many, many years. So it is quite possible that Reg was in fact his great, I'm not sure what it would have been, but great something. And I think really that that's incredible, because as I say, he was only 22 when he was killed at the Somme. So I'm convinced there is a connection there.
Actually, that's kind of shocking, because I'm 22 right now. That's actually just Ben's reality.
Yeah, well, I think that's what this whole, this conflict really, I think, when people, I don't think, obviously a lot of people do know, but the fact that so many young people, basically.
I mean, that's actually one of the things we actually try to capture, like the optimism that is faced by young men who thought that this was going to be a very noble, very honourable thing. You could go and make their families proud, the thing, like one of the characters said. But with no sense of forethought, it was just people blindly going to their deaths, which is actually kind of sad, considering that's not what was on their minds when they were on their way to France.
That's right, absolutely right, yeah. What I want to know is, can you still buy lemon sherbets?
You got them.
Oh, were they? Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I mean, again, I think perhaps we could just show them another round of applause. Be able to see that film online as well.
Yeah, that'll be uploaded tonight. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay then, go home and watch it on your laptops. But if you want to have a drink before you go, please do. Thanks again for coming. Thank you.